Mandus here with Maximum Muscle Report. We have a treat for you this week. We're going to give you some updates with the one and only promoter extraordinaire, Chris. Now, Chris, I've heard people say your name about 75 different times. It gets thrown around as much as mine. So it's minus like Minnesota, huh?
Correct. Minus like Minnesota. Minnesota without the Oda.
Now, are you trying to tell us you're from Minnesota, or are you a golden boy from the West Coast your whole life?
No, I'm from Vermont. I grew up in the cold. That's where I got my work ethic.
Okay. When did you head out west, man?
As soon as I turned 18, I moved to Colorado, and I lived in Oregon and California, Nevada. I've been all over. Now I'm back in Reno, Nevada.
Okay. So you really got this West Coast thing down pat.
I sometimes my East Coast in me rubs them wrong a little bit, but it is what it is.
All right, Chris, let's get right down to it. So last year, you were ever so gracious to invite us out to cover the Legion Sports Festival. And man, I got to tell you, for as much traveling as we do all over the globe, specifically all over the United States, one of the best productions we've ever seen from A to Z, hands down. I didn't realize all the stuff you guys have going on out there. I'm going to give you a second here to talk a little bit about your guys' concept and the idea of what the Legion Sports Festival really is all about, because I don't think everyone knows everything that's going on out there. And then I'm going to jump in a little bit because, again, we got to firsthand experience it and be there the entire weekend. We're back this year, and we're going to stay for like a week this year. We're gonna come out there, cover the show, and turn the thing into a vacation, because where better to be than Southern California in November. Okay, yep. So give us a little bit about what your guys' concept was when you started this thing and where it's at today, Chris.
Sure, man. Yeah, it all started in the Tahoe show in 2011. And I was living and working in Tahoe in the ski industry, and we're very customer focused, and we're also understood the value of our destination. So when I originally said I was going to put on a show in Tahoe where 28,000 people live, they were sure it was going to fail. Turned out within a couple of years, it was one of the biggest shows on the West Coast because everybody wants to go to Tahoe. We wanted to have this same kind of concept in Long Beach. It's why we try to always pick great destinations and really think about the entire experience. Again, I'm from a customer service background, so we think about the customer service, the customer's experience. So we think about like from parking all the way till what you're going to do after the show. And Long Beach is set up so well to make that just awesome. I mean, you're taking the weekend off, or you're taking the time off from work, or you kicked your own ass training for whatever sport we have. You deserve to have an awesome experience. So the expo itself is on the Long Beach Harbor, on the bay. The beach is like a half a mile away. Across the street is this whole shopping village, and it's located downtown where there's like 100 restaurants within 2 miles. And this year it's actually a better setup than last year, where we're in a bigger hall, which is directly adjacent to the Hyatt. So it's like it takes 15 seconds to walk from the hall to the hotel. So, I mean, as an athlete, go on.
I'm just real quick. Last year, we were walking around in the downtown area. So that's why I wanted to really touch on that. Covered the show Saturday, went out to a nice dinner after. Sunday, Sarah Lyon and I, my better half, were walking around on Saturday in between, and we found a brand new sports bar right around the corner from the venue that had just opened, and it actually had satellite remote of every single NFL game playing on Sunday. It had foos tables, big giant Jenga games. It had chess tables, checkers, darts. It was a game seminar going on in there with every football game going on. Good food. The weather was nice. the ceiling was skylights everywhere. So I felt like I was watching a game outside. You better be sure we're going to be in the same place again this year. As a matter of fact, we got about a dozen athletes that I know that are coming out to compete, and they're all not going home till Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, because they're actually turning the show. They're going to compete and then hang out for a few days as a mini vacation. A couple of them are just solo. A couple of them are bringing their wives, the husbands, the boyfriends, the girlfriends. But it's going to be an overall experience that weekend.
That's what it's about. That's what it's all about. Where it's cool that we've been able to incorporate a lot of that into the show. One thing we do, because we're in this awesome location, is we have this thing with our sponsors. It's called our sponsor soiree. It's in a speakeasy, and the speakeasy is this old bank, and it's in the basement of this old bank, and the vault is there, and you can go in the vault, and it's just another part of this experience that only Long Beach can offer.
I think this is really cool. Now, Chris, we're talking about what a good time it is going out there, but now let's touch on competition. So last year when we were out there, there were several Olympians who had extended their prep a little bit, did your show, won to qualify for this year's Olympia, and it paid off. It absolutely paid off because it gave them the entire year to put on some extra tissue. Tell us a little bit about what that's been like, because Sean Clarita was there last year. So we're not talking about just athletes who made it to the Olympia. We're talking about some top 5, top 6, top 7 athletes. So the competition is as fierce as it gets.
Yeah, it really is. There's a couple things that happen. One thing I was impressed by Danny Unan's performance at the Olympia. I don't think anybody knew who he was before he won the Legion, really. And then he had a full year to get ready for the Olympia, and there he was. He hit the sixth place spot this year. And I know a lot of people are coming back. And, part of what gets people back too is, like you said, the experience. And we've custom made tracksuits for everybody. Everybody gets to have their coach backstage, which for me, like, I go to something, Boyana, she's IFBB Pro, my girlfriend. So, I get to see what happens at other pro shows. And sometimes I'm like, well, that sucks for them. When they have to go to a competitor meeting and their coach or their significant other can't go with them. And as an athlete, you're an athlete, or observing them as athletes, like, you're kind of out of it. You're not kind of, you're really out of it. You're tired. And just having your coach or somebody you feel good about just kind of watch, like, oh, hey, you missed that. That's really nice and comforting to have. And I feel like it takes a lot of the stress out of the whole experience. And that's why, like, again, like, the hotel is 15 seconds away. Prejudging is 15 seconds away. Finals is 15 seconds away. You get to have your coach there. You get to have your coach backstage for free. And these are the little things that I think make the experience a lot better. Like I said, the free tracksuit. That people want to come and they want to feel like a pro. They want to feel like a star, and I think they deserve it. And one of my things, like, as my company grows, I want to be able to do more and more and more for the athletes. We think of, like, the NFL, and where these guys are making millions of dollars to show up. And in our world, we don't have that kind of money. We don't. I mean, It's just, we don't have that kind of money. It's just almost not fair to compare. But if I can continue to build something that we start going in that direction, the more I can give back to them, the more I think then we're doing the right thing for them. And I feel like a lot of the athletes tune into that when they see we're just beginning and how much better their experience is.
Well, I tell you, we were there covering the entire check-ins, and I can't tell you, as we were waiting to talk to people when they were done picking up all their swag, I can't tell you how many guys were like, "Is this really all ours? Is it? Wait, I get to keep this?" And you had one or two other guys who've done your show before, like, "Yeah, man, Greg, get your stuff. You don't got to run. Believe me, it's yours. It's yours." So at the same time, Chris, it's a very comfortable feeling. The production is fantastic, but it was very relaxed at the same time. There's some shows that seem a little tense, seem a little more hustle and bustle. They're getting you in, they're getting you out. There's not a lot of time to kind of kick back and associate and commiserate with some of the other people. And that wasn't the case. You guys were about your business on the front. But the feel and the energy was, hey, glad you're here, relax. Are you sure you got all your stuff? Do you need anything else? Type of a feel. I guess I want to call it California cool.
It's that, that was another thing you touched on. The social aspect of it was also something I felt when I competed. Like, you've done it, you spent 12 weeks, you do the show, and you just want to meet these people, you want to talk about the show, you want to go somewhere, and then it's just over. And you're like, I don't know. I wanted to create more of a social aspect to it, and we'll talk about like the ultra lounge that we have built in the middle of our expo. We want to. I'm glad you felt that way, because that's part of my goal. I want people to connect, and I want them to feel comfortable, and it's free to do that. As a promoter, it's free to allow your coach in. It's free to make them feel relaxed and create that vibe. And a lot of that vibe is just being prepared as a promoter.
Yeah.
Like, you've thought through how your day is going to go. I always tell my staff, like, when we plan our event, we think about what happens, where we're going to park. That's the first thing you do. And you realize when you go to a show, that wasn't even the first step of where to park wasn't thought through. And it begins this snowball effect of stress. And stress creates cortisol, which causes water retention. And we want you to look good on stage.
It's like any other sport, though. Yes, your preparation is what got you where the show is today, but they say, every team takes on the personality of their coach. I believe we get a lot of that with you, man, because anyone who knows you or has seen you around, you're very detail oriented. You're a very scripted guy when it comes to your work, but then you're a big ham, dude. You're a goofball. You like to laugh. You like to have a good time. You're chatting with everybody. So yes, your production crew is who executes your plan. But Chris, I got to believe that really just comes from the top down. That's who you are as a person. So really look forward to being back there again this year, no doubt. Maybe you and your crew are gonna have to meet us at this place Sunday. I'm telling you, every single game from around the country, it was great. It was great.
That's good.
So something else you've got brewing here. You've got an NPC seminar going on with the one. Miss Sandy Williamson, and hold on, let me see. I think I saw something. You've got Mark Anthony, Danny Hester, Oksana, Jay Cutler. How were you just trying to collect Olympia titles here to teach and preach? What's going on?
Yeah, pretty much. We have a 3.5-hour long seminar. Combined, there's 21 Olympia championships among the 8 Olympia presenters. It's more than, at other events you see seminars where it's a Q&A. Now, this is really an A to Z of competing. It's something I've done with Center Podium. When I go into new markets, I'll spend as many as 2 days doing these intense seminars. I teach them how to eat. I teach them about hormones. I teach them about supplements, posing. And even like in Reno, like Danny and Oksana and Mark came up to Reno and gave these people kind of this once in a lifetime opportunity. And we're going to do this again with 8 Olympians, and it will be the A to Z's of competing. It'll be a Q&A, and it's going to be posing. And it's going to be really like, there's never been a seminar like this. And it's $45 to get in. And that includes your expo ticket, your IFBB pre-judging ticket, and this seminar. So I just want to make this.
Wait a minute. So this is a huge festival. So there's a bunch of other sports going on. Like I said, I was there last year. This place is jam-packed. For those of you newer pros, or pros that are in between NPC athletes, small suggestion: when you have an opportunity like this with this many companies all together, guys, go sell yourself. You're looking for a new sponsor, go sell yourself to some of these people, because they're looking for somebody like you, just like you're looking for somebody like them. So anyways, you're saying they're walking around the entire festival. They get their prejudging ticket and they have access to the seminar with 21 Olympia titles, and it's all for $45.
Correct.
Chris, how you making any money, man? That's unbelievable.
That's, we believe in the future of this, and we believe that growing our market, growing these NPC competitor base is really, really important.
Yeah.
And I want to make sure that everybody has the opportunity to absolutely be their best next time they compete. And hopefully when they've learned it through me or through our organization, they'll realize that we're really invested in them and continue to invest back in us.
So this is all this. So I can go, if I'm an NPC athlete anywhere on the West Coast and I want to go hang out and watch, well, here, is there a bigger pro show on the West Coast right now than this?
I mean, besides the Olympia,
right. Well, and it's
the big,
yeah. So I can go and hang out for a majority of the day for $45. Go watch the biggest pro show on the West Coast, hang out, go to the seminar, watch prejudging, hang out at the festival all day, and just be relaxing, and then decide if I want to go to the night show.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I guess you really are thinking of just about everything. I know you talked about it earlier, but wow, this is something. All right. So what's it going to cost me to also just stay and go to the night show? Because if I'm going to be there all day, this might as well be an all day event.
I think the night show tickets start at around $65. You can get a VIP ticket for $150. And by the way, if you do get the VIP ticket for $150, that includes prejudging and the whole deal.
So for $100 or $150, if I want to be VIP and bougie for the day, I'm hanging out all day. 21 Olympians teaching me about how to compete, prejudging, night show, and I get to see the biggest show that the West Coast offers. That's not the Olympia. Okay.
Yep.
Right.
And we have red carpet too, so you'll see a ton of celebrities, fitness celebrities, but also some mainstream celebrities right before the show starts. Kind of like that Hollywood style red carpet.
Yeah. I was there last year, and again, I mean, I can't believe everything that you're offering, not only for the cost, but the access. That's really something. I think a lot of people in the Midwest, you talked about Minnesota, you talked about Vermont. We're from Chicago, so in the Midwest, November is that time of year where things really start to turn. It starts to get cold. The rain really comes pouring down. Sometimes we get hit with some early snow. So heading out west really is probably one of the best ways to end a season. Do you know offhand how many guys and girls, competitors together, you had compete at your show last year that went to the Olympia? Because I can think of 3 guys that I interviewed that won your show last year that all finished in it. You ready? In the top 6 at the Olympia this year.
That's awesome.
Men's physique finished 3rd. Danny Union finished 6th, and Sean was 3rd.
3rd, yeah.
So, I mean, this is obviously a strategy that works.
Yeah.
Do you know how many other athletes there were?
I don't know off the top of my head. I know I talked to several people at the Olympia. I got to be honest, like, maybe this is for better or for worse. I don't follow athletes super close.
Yeah.
And I really focus on the operations side. I rather not get involved. I mean, in the past, there's a perception that there's people pulling strings in the background, and I'm really, and I'm really proud to, like, pretty much I don't know who won any of my shows.
That's what we're here for, right? That's why you got us along, to bring the news like we just did. Yeah. Tyron Holden finished 3rd at the Olympia this year. He won your show last year. Sean Clarita and Danny Yonan. So right there, we really don't need to go down the list. There's 3 people who finished in the top 6. You want to talk about a strategy? Holy cow. Chris, it's been fantastic talking to you. We can't wait to be out there and cover your show again. Give us a little something you wanna leave the athletes and the fans with before we sign off here.
I think you nailed it with it is a fitness vacation. I think you're going to come here and you're going to learn a lot. So you're going to leave a better athlete. And the whole thing is you're going to be really, it's going to be entertaining and engaging. We talked about the Fitness Ultra Lounge, some of the new sports. We're bringing in MMA. So Saturday night is a legit MMA event. We have this thing called armed combat sports where they dress up like knights and beat the crap out of each other.
Wow.
I mean, okay. Oksana Grishina's pole fitness championship. I mean, there's 12 sports. So there's something for everybody, whether you're an athlete, whether you're a supporter of an athlete, or you're just slightly interested in fitness, you're going to leave a more healthy and better athlete.
Very cool. Can't wait. I'm going to be curious to see what our timing is like then, because I want to hang out and see some of these other sports going on. Oh, yeah. So similar to that thing that goes on in Ohio in March. Is that what we're saying?
Real similar to that. And by the way, we're the only pro show where our winners get an automatic qualification for the Arnold.
Now, how did we miss this one? So can you repeat that one more time, please?
We're the only show where if you win our show, you get an automatic invite to the Arnold.
Well, I could tell you that there's several divisions that are going to be chomping at the bit. The figure girls are always trying to figure out how to get in there. Classic physique, this is really something. Chris, always a pleasure. That's some really big news. We've got to really get that out there, because I don't think very many athletes know that.
Yeah.
We'll have to see if anyone's in close enough shape to still make it. Now that once they have this announcement,
it's got to keep it rolling.
They're gonna take a look and say, how much can I get off right now? Chris, always a pleasure. Appreciate having you on. We really look forward to being out there, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks, brother. You have a good one.
Absolutely. You as well.